Today I am sharing my top 3 most anticipated book releases of February 2021. If you would like me to continue doing these kind of videos, or if you like these videos and want to see one for March, please give this video a thumbs up below so I know to continue to create them. So I don't own any of these books just yet, but I will put their covers somewhere on the screen so that you can see what they look like, and I will also link the books down below in the description box. So let's get into it. My third most anticipated book release of February 2021 is The Paris Library by Janet Skeslien Charles. I really hope I pronounced that name right. This book releases February 9th. In this book, we follow Odelle in Paris 1939 during World War II, and we follow Lily in 1983 in Montana as she's connecting to her elderly neighbor. Odelle's a librarian at the American Library of Paris, and when the Nazis invade Paris, she and her fellow librarians decide to join the resistance. But after World War II is over, she is faced with a very terrible, unspeakable betrayal. But what that is, we don't know. So I'm like, it's a lot of mystery, and I can't wait to find out. But jumping into 1983, we follow Lily, who is a lonely teenager in a small town in Montana, and she's just trying to find something to do. So she decides to start connecting with her elderly neighbor, and as they're connecting, they find out they have a lot in common, and that maybe the mysterious past of her elderly neighbor is what connects them. So I'm really excited to find out all the mysteries that are involving this book, and it reminds me of The Nightingale a lot with the 2 different time periods. The Nightingale, I will say, stays within World War II more, but I'm excited to see what the betrayal and mysterious past of all these characters are. So my second most anticipated release of February is by one of my favorite authors. It is The 4 Winds by Kristin, and it releases this Tuesday, February 2nd. I was introduced to Kristin last January when one of the girls in my book club chose The Nightingale, which, if you don't follow me on Instagram, we chose that as the top book of 2020. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, go to Instagram and make sure you hit that follow button, because I post what I'm currently reading, and I'm going to be posting my top book for January very soon. But back to The 4 Winds. So like many other books that Kristin has written, it is a historical fiction. The book takes place during the Great Depression, when families have to decide whether to stay where they currently are or make the hard and long trip out to California for a possibility at a better life. No one really knew if it was really going to provide them a better life than where they were, but during the Great Depression, I think I would have taken the risk as well. The main character's name is Elsa Martinelli. I'm really hoping I'm saying that last name right. We follow her. She decides which path to take, and we also follow like her neighbors and all their struggles during the Great Depression and how they deal with it. The 4 Winds would be the 3rd book that I've read by Kristin. The first one was The Nightingale, which takes place in World War II. It is seriously one of my all-time favorite books. I highly recommend it. Make sure you have tissues because you will cry. And the second book I've read by Kristin is The Great Alone, which takes place after the Vietnam War, and it follows a family who moves to Alaska to try to find a better life. Highly recommend all those books, but for February, I'm really excited about The 4 Winds. Now for my number 1 most anticipated book of February 2021. Drum roll! A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. So this book was originally supposed to be published on January 26th of this year, but due to the pandemic and everything, it was pushed back to February 16th, and we're coming up so close on it, and I cannot wait. I am so excited. Now, if you haven't read A Court of Thorns and Roses series or ACOTAR series, any of those previous books, you may want to stop the video now because there will be some spoilers, and I don't want to ruin that series for you. It is one of my favorite series. It's top 5 definitely. It's up there with Harry Potter. So I would stop the video now because I don't want to ruin anything for you. A Court of Silver Flames. It follows Nesta and Cassian, which I'm so excited about. After the final battle with Hybern, which happens in A Court of War and Ruin, which is the 3rd book. I'm really excited about having a book from Nesta's point of view because not a lot of people really enjoyed her as a character, and I didn't really enjoy her, but I didn't dislike her either. I was just like neutral about it. Like there were times that she really did make me angry, but I understood that was Nesta. So I'm really excited to have a book from her point of view, to get to know her more, to understand where she's coming from, to understand what she is now. Like I'm really curious to find out what she is and like her power and everything. And plus we follow Cassian, which I mean, like, who doesn't want more time with Cassian? So it's gonna be a great book regardless. But we also find more about his past as well in this book. However, during all of the like journey and the growing of Nesta and Cassian, we have the mortal queens on the continent who are being very suspicious. Like they're up to something, they're doing something, and we don't know what it is. I'm really curious about that because I despise the mortal queens, despise them. But it seems like the only people who can figure it out and stop it are Nesta and Cassian, so I'm really excited to see how they're going to work together, how they're going to defeat the mortal queen, and just the journey that they're going through, and just to get to know them both more, especially Nesta, be able to maybe connect with her. So there's going to be 2 different excerpts of this book. Barnes & Noble will have an excerpt from Reese and Favor's point of view, and then Books A Million has Asriel or Az point of view. And I'm leaning towards getting the Books A Million version just because we've had a ton of Reese and Feyre and I love them so much that, I mean, if I got the Barnes & Noble one, I would not complain. But I just want more of Az because he is very mysterious and I just love him. He is so sweet and like, but has a really dark side. I just want to know more about him. I would love to know which version you are leaning towards, Books A Million or Barnes & Noble, or if you're going to get both, I mean, that's great. I probably eventually will get both because why not? Well, that is it for today's video. I would love to know what your top book releases for February 2021 are, so make sure you comment them below so I can check them out too. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram so you can find out what my top book for January was. Also, if you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below and turn on your notifications so you don't miss when I post a video. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.